This is a game from US East. A game I played last night, just versus level 25. Random versus random, ended up being Night Elf versus Human, me Night Elf. This is the only way to beat Human in my personal opinion without abusing Ancients of War. We'll go up to 15 seconds. Once again, I'll pause the game and then we'll restart it when everyone's at 15 seconds. I am at 15 seconds now. I'll wait a few seconds, let everyone have a chance to catch up here if they upload it a little bit slower. Once again, ignore what time the audio commentary MP3 file is at. Only look at the replay file. The whole replay will be done at one speed. Start now. Say goes fast, alter. You don't see that as much anymore. Most people go fast bears. You had a few footmen earlier. I personally think it's a better build order now. I didn't like it as much at first either, but kind of is better in about all ways. One thing I don't like. I don't like how people can block in their gold mine and mine with 4 workers. I think that's retarded, and that needs to be fixed by Blizzard with haste. Hopefully, it will be in the Frozen Thorn beta test because I think it's retarded that they set out. I mean, just make all races then like Night Elf and Undead, where they have 5 guys on their gold mine. Don't even do this line stuff anymore. They don't need to continue on the Warcraft 2 tradition and the Starcraft edition, because if it gives a race even that level of advantage where they might only have to put 4 guys in gold, it's not worth it.
Your building is complete.
There's no reason to do that. And it's not like it's a designed advantage, not in my personal opinion at least. See, this guy starts off with his standard Archmage, as most people do. Probably he's going to work on, wants to at least, go creep his expansion with militia, things of that such. But as you can see, one little move stopped that from happening and ended the game. Basically, the way Human wins versus Night Elf is by getting their heroes up to level 3 and 4. If they can get their Archmage and Mount King to 3 and 4, level 4, they cannot lose in my personal opinion. There's almost nothing Night Elf can do to win, outside of massing Ancients of War, and in the future when I refer to how Night Elf can't win, it will always be without Ancients of War. Personally, I don't really care to abuse them. I only do in rare situations where I feel my opponent is doing something stupid, and I have to punish him. But anyways, as you can see, he's building footmen early on. Going to get his Archmage, and once again try to creep his expansion. So as I was saying, the key is to try to stop Human from creeping. But that's sometimes hard, because they have water elementals, which gives them a big advantage, and footmen can take so many hits. When you put them in defend mode, there's almost nothing to do. Right there, detonate. That was the one move. He lost 100 mana, his water elementals at 200 life. That prevents him from allowing to fast expansion, to creep his expansion with militia at a fast rate. He just can't do it, and really it prevents him from creeping completely in all aspects. His water elemental is half dead, he can use it barely, and his Archmage is also weak. Here you can see I start going after footmen. My whole plan here is the Hunter's Rust, so I'm trying to do that as fast as possible, weaken up as many of his footmen as quickly as possible. Another reason why Night Elf can no longer beat Human is because people have finally learned. It's not that the matchups changed any, it's that Night Elf was more advanced in a lot of ways because of how Night Elf players played, specifically me. A lot of the Human players, there's not very many Human players that really, in my opinion, are very skilled, comparatively to like Torm and Kane. A lot of those guys were playing Night Elf. So, people really didn't figure out how to play Human effectively, and that's why all of a sudden you see people saying, how can Night Elf beat these Human build orders? And the reality of the matter is, they might not be able to, or maybe the Night Elf just has to have a new little revolution where they use things, and part of that is Ancients of War, to beat Human. But the real reason Human is now more powerful is because people have finally learned how to effectively use militia. Militia is godly. And if used correctly, you cannot attack a Human. They're better than, I wouldn't say they're better than the Black Citadel, but they're better than defensive Ancients of War, and they're better than Burrows. Why? Because they're fast and they can move. You can't get out of their range. And they do just as much damage as footmen, and they cost 1 supply. And they're absolutely devastating. And they have 4 armor, which is ridiculous. They should not have 4 armor. That's a joke. I can't even believe that they have that much armor. I'm not even sure what he's doing right here. I think he's going to buy a Wand of Negation. That's what he's doing. He tried to go buy a Wand of Negation because he wanted to stop my entangles. Smart move on his part. Not sure why he's hiding his footmen there, though. Anyways, my plan here is I saw he was fast upgrading, so I knew he was going to go for his Mountain King and Sorcerers quickly. That's why I went for the main Huntress Rush. Basically, my plan is to try to kill off his workers, so he can't use his militia, and I know I can beat his footmen with huntresses. That's basically my plan. Now, it doesn't work so well for me, because as you can see, he immediately draws his militia. His militia have 4 armor. Huntresses can't do anything to 4 armor militia, which really puts me in a bad position. The only problem is he drew all his militia, runs into the back of his base. I now can't hurt him, and he's coming in with his footmen to the side. At this point, there's nothing I can do. This guy doesn't even use his militia very well, because a smart player wouldn't have even drawn that many militia. They would have only drawn a few. Now, this is made even worse once he has his Mountain King. Then he draws his militia, he stormbolts you, and then there's really nothing you can do. As you can see, and footmen are so cheap, you can build them so quickly. Huntresses can't effectively fight them in numbers early on, so it allows the human player to get to tier 2 very easy. Plus, if they go and buy a Wand of Negation, my Entangle is worthless. And really, the problem is his command. Right here, you can see this guy doesn't use his militia effectively. Half the time, he's got them standing around. He shouldn't draw all of them. He should only be drawing 3 or 4 at a time. Because, I mean, literally a good rule of thumb, I think, is maybe 1 militia per huntress. Unless you really want to go after something, then you can draw 5 or 6. You should never probably draw all your militia unless you have to. That's my personal opinion on the matter. And this guy just, I mean, he's so slow with putting his militias back into position. That hurts him. It hurts him badly. It's hurting him more than it's helping him. If you watch replays of Insomnia, I'm not really sure of any other human players I can think of offhand that do it really well. They use their militia masterfully, and that will kill you. You can't go into their base, and the only way you can beat human is by stopping them from creeping and getting high-level heroes, which basically means you have to attack them outside of their base and try to catch them creeping, which is hard to do. And even if you catch them creeping, you can't do that much damage because they have water elementals, and water elementals are just big tanks for them. And you can't go into their base because they'll use militia, which means they're going to get to priests and spellcasters. If you can't prevent that, you're not going to do well at all. I mean, the whole name of the game is preventing spellcasters, because once they get to sorceresses, your huntresses are worthless, and you have to go dryads. And those don't work very well either. So you're really not doing very well, and if they get defend, then you're done, because you have to get dryads to stop his water elementals, and you have to get defend to stop his, or you have to get dryads to stop his water elementals, and he gets defend to stop your dryads. Your huntresses don't work very well. You're just in you're in a losing situation. Right here you can see on his base, he's lost a few guys. He's down to a number of militia. He doesn't have as many. He's creeping a little bit, but because he didn't get to creep his expansion, he's not level 2 on his Archmage, which means he has no Brilliance Aura, which is really going to work out for my favor. Right now I'm just blowing up farms, doing the damage I can to him. Whereas if I get a few farms, he might not be able to produce very much. Right here, if I get the second farm, he'll be under the supply cap. Won't be able to build any militia, and he's losing quite a few right now. He's building 2 in the back of his base. That's smart. As you can see, he draws his militia, but he doesn't have me successfully trapped with his footmen. That's a very, very bad move. Right here I got Immolate. You'll usually see me get Mana Burn. Immolate in this situation is far better because it just shreds his footmen. So you can see I'm trying to run out my huntresses, keep them in the back, let them do damage. Right here my Keeper of the Road's taking quite a bit of damage too. You can see he fought this battle horribly. What he should have done was sent his militia into the middle of my force and his footmen into the back ends, used Stormbolt, killed off a few of my units for sure, and not wounded up a whole bunch. You can see right here. Look at my Huntress's life right here. My Demon Hunters at half, got a Huntress at half there, Huntress at half there, got another Huntress at, I healed up a number. I had like 2 under 100 life there, as well as my Keeper of the Grove, and my heroes were both at half life. I only lost 2 or 3, maybe 2 units, and he lost all of his militia. He lost everything he had. The game's over right here at 8 man sin, because he didn't use his militia efficiently. That is the key to winning with human versus Night Elf, in my opinion, and maybe even other races. I'm not really sure. I don't get as much practice with them. So if you really ever had a hard time fighting Night Elf with human, then you got to use your militia correctly. And if you're trying to beat human with Night Elf, you got to think of a way to counter militia. I don't know. Well, I'm really working toward the Frozen Thorns, so I'm not really working for any new strategies these days. Normally I would never. Right there, I can't believe that happened. I meant to target his footman, but somehow I targeted his my own Huntress. Oh well. Everyone makes mistakes, huh? Even the best. I guess if any of you guys watch basketball, even Michael Jordan misses dunks these days. You can see he draws militia. Doesn't really have that many, but it's still effectively hurting me. I mean, he's still fighting me with 2 footmen and 2 heroes because of his militia. But he needs to get his militia away from my Emily. That's just killing him. But see, the problem is, versus most players, I can't go Emily. Why? Because he'll stumbolt me, then he'll surround me, and then I have a dead Demon Hunter. So really, I can only use Emulate versus players that aren't as good, which is kind of sad. That's where the problem exists. Before you could buy potions of healing